All right, I have here a Segal Pickproof lock. It's actually not an original, but rather an extremely well-crafted recreation. I know the binding order. I've picked this lock before. So I'm going to start with 4. 4 is set. Next, going to do 2. 2 is set. Next is 1. Now 1 is binding on the body of the driver, so need to loosen that up first. Be careful because it's right behind. It's probably good that tensioner fell out. It's right behind this tensioner. Okay, that was the body, but now the gin. And for the gin, of course, I want to flip pick that and counter rotate. So let's get that back in. Okay, there's the gin. Okay, so 1, 2. Next up is 3. I just felt the body of the driver binding, so we use this pick has a flat head, so it's a little bit easier to. There we go. Really likes to jump out that one. Let's see, 3. So I push the body of the driver up. The gin is not set. So let's get this back in. Going to counter rotate slightly to get that gin up there. I mean, it's close. I don't want to push it too far. Oop. What did that do? That's either set or I overset everything. I think I'm okay. All right. So unlike a normal lock, we're going to have to do this tricky maneuver here to wrap things up. I'm going to take this thin pick and I'm going to put it on 3, really pushing everything up there. I'm going to take another pick and push it along the side. Oops, not on top, but on the side. All right, and now pushing up on 3 and approaching 5, counter rotating on 5. Come on. Let's get some movement on 5. There we go. Okay. 5 is set, lock is open, and there we have it. So the last part might have not have made much sense, but we'll see when gutting, and I'll do some explanation. So you can see we're turned at 90 degrees. We're clearly picked here. Actually, I should call. I didn't use these when picking, but I use them all the time. I had 2 markings here. This top one shows me when that's lined up, I'm in the trap underneath the sleeve. So it's useless when picking like I just did, but it tells me when to stop trying because I failed. And so that was useful to have while learning. And this other mark here, I guess I don't use that as much, but there's a, that's kind of where you can get some of the gin heads stuck on the side of the sleeve, and it tells me to keep on trying, basically. So so basically give up if I'm past this point was what that was trying to tell me. Anyways, let's gut this thing. Gonna move the camera around a little bit, so let's Undo the focus lock, zoom out a little bit. Okay, here we go. And let me, it's the best way to do this. I'll take the phone up here. Okay. And I'll go back a little bit. Probably helpful if I loosen this up. Oh, it's still unlocked, so the cam is stuck in the back. All right. Let's just put that there. And get this out of the way. Okay. And get a nice camera stand in place. Okay. All right, it's not too bad, right? Let me zoom out a little bit more. Gutting tray. Here we go. Okay. So let's see what we have here. I think I need this. I had an X-Acto knife because there's a little sleeve on the top here that you can take them out. By the way, I should explain. Pinball in our Lockpickers Unite community, exceptional machinist. He recreated this lock from the original Segal Pickproof, and I can't explain exactly what he did, but I will call out this is an original lock body. The core, all the internals are manufactured new and with great tolerances. So I imagine he did a better job than what they were able to do back in the 1930s when they made this lock, which is extremely rare to find these days. And the key is an original. This is from a blank. It's an original key, and so the keyway and everything just matches beautifully the original lock. He made 9 of these, and this one's number 2. You can see stamped on the back. Anyways, let's actually get it open. So I'll lock it back up. I think the screws are original too, so we're gonna need to take those out. Get a screwdriver. Okay. So there's the cam. Not much interesting with that. Okay, so I think I'm going to use the key here. Turn a little bit clockwise. I'll have a follower. I'm going to match that notch there. And let's, is that the right size? I might have grabbed a little bit too big. Oh no, I was just stuck on something. Okay, so get the drivers in a sec. Here are the key pins, and this is the coolest part about this lock. You see this movable sleeve. Okay, and so just do a close up of that. Okay. All right, and so we can just take these key pins out one by one. Actually, you can notice right here that key pins 3 and 5 are smaller diameter than the other 3. And that is one of the features of the original lock. So obviously these pins are brand new, but you know, here I'll just take them out one by one here. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's nothing really left in this core except, you know, beautifully designed the original keyway. And what makes this lock interesting is that, you know, the sleeve here is movable, and it creates a little nook in there where well, I have to show you the driver pins, where the gin of the driver pins get stuck. Let me get the driver pins out, and then that'll become more obvious. Okay, so we got 5 starting from the front. Get the tweezers. Okay. Okay, and you can see they're all gins, so that's 1. Let me orient them properly relative to the key pin. Okay, it's 2. And sometimes the spring gets stuck to the end. Okay, there's 3. The spring's coming out with that one too. Okay, and then 4. Okay. And 1 more back there. Just all the way in the back, there's 5. Okay. Spring's coming out with that one as well. Okay. And that means there is 1 spring left. There it is. All right, and so that's all we have in here, an empty core. Again, this is an original piece. I don't think it was a Pickproof body before, but Pinball did this really nice engraving on the front, just like the original. And oh, you know what? I should get that X-Acto blade. I should show you the boring here, because one of the things that was really nice is, it might not have appreciated it from the video, but the boring here is really nice. He used a larger diameter stock for the pins, so he was able to really precisely get these tolerances, you know, better than the original manufacturer, or, you know, this original lock body, which obviously makes things more challenging. So that was really cool. And here we go. Here are the guts. So let's see, what's the best way to do this? I'll zoom in a little bit. So I want to explain a little bit my picking strategy. Okay, you can see that pretty well, right? Yeah, that's pretty close. Oh, and before I do that, I was explaining what happens here, right? So the idea is that this gin can get caught in between the sleeve, right there, okay? And the genius of this is, you know, normally when you're picking gins with match countermilling, you've got a direct connection between your tensioner and the thing that's binding against the gin. But not so here, because we went counterclockwise, right? So as you rotate, you start to pick up the sleeve, and now in this direction, counterclockwise, you've got a direct connection between your tensioner and what's binding against the gin, i.e. the sleeve. But when you counter-rotate, you do not have a direct connection. You counter-rotate, you just move this core. You don't actually move the sleeve. And so what I wound up doing is counter rotating just a little so that the, by prodding just at the edge, you can kind of knock this aside just enough, yet still have the control, right? Because you can't, if you were to counter rotate the core all the way back so it would grab the other side, you drop everything. That doesn't work. And so that's the variation of the technique I used. But the thing you have to watch out for is you can't just get the lock into a false set, because then the your tension will just pick up and the sleeve will get permanently stuck above the gins. So if you can see visually here, that's a good way to do this. Here, let me kind of line it up at the bottoms of the key pins, so that will kind of illustrate a little bit what's going on with the bitting. Okay, so I think I have that right. I'm hoping you can see this with the angle of the camera. I'll zoom in even more. Okay, good. So imagine it's a little bit lower. Okay. The sleeve kind of comes right about here. Okay. And what that means is that starting out, I'm already in the middle in the gap of this driver pin. Of this, the two lowest. Of this driver pin, the two min lifts, this driver pin and this driver pin. And then at the lock, the body of the others. So I don't think I'm actually lining this up properly, but the point is, no, sorry, I got that wrong. I am lining it up properly. The sleeve is in the middle of 2 and the middle of 4. And if you remember, those are the first 2 I set, and there was just a single click, right? Because it's binding against the body of the drivers on 1, 3, and 5, which is basically keeping the sleeve exactly where I need it. But it's free to move on 2 and 4, okay? And so the true binding order, where these gins bind against the sleeve, in my case, counterclockwise, very consistent because it's a pin tumbler lock, is 4, then 2, then 1, then 3, then 5. So if you think about that order, 4 and 2, no problem. 1, no problem. But as you start to get, when I got to these last 2, the issue is that the body of the driver actually, of both of them, actually binds before the gins. So if this were a normal lock, no big deal. You just get both of these 2 into a false set, and you'd pick the gins out of the countermount. But if I were to do that with this lock, I'd fall into the trap, and both of these would be caught underneath the sleeve, and I'd be done. So what I wound up doing is I set 3 first, while the body of the driver on 5 kept me safe. But then I used that thin pick to hold 3 in place, even though it's not its turn to bind, while rising 5 all the way. Okay? So by doing that, I didn't have to navigate this slippery situation where the whole thing's just floating. Anyways, I know it sounds more complicated than it really is, but hopefully that makes sense and gives some appreciation for just how cool this lock design is, and how grateful I am to Pinball for just building it in such a beautiful way.